guys, welcome back to my channel and to a very beautiful sunny Monday morning. It's crazy just how much my mood is lifted when the sun comes out, and it is a gorgeous day. So yeah, I hope it's going to be a fantastic one for you wherever you are, and we're going to be having a fantastic day of food. So this morning was pretty nothingy, if I'm honest. I woke up and had coffee and a banana, which is pretty standard for me when I'm either not feeling too hungry, not feeling that inspired, and I just want to get up and get about my day and break my fast. So nothing too exciting there, but for lunch it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm quite hungry now, and I'm going to prepare these little cheese and caramelized onion pastry cigars, which I'm so excited for. And they're going to be delicious, really flavorful, ideal for a light lunch or a light dinner, ideal for a side dish, a starter, great for parties, canapes, picnics, anything like that. And a veggie dish as well, so a lot of you non-meat eaters can get involved on this one. And then for tonight for dinner, we're going to be having harissa chicken, which is a very aromatic dish. I get asked a lot about harissa. I guess it's because you guys see it a lot in my what I eat in a days. It's a spice and a paste that I use very frequently, and I really like it. So what I thought is, if you guys nip to Tesco or wherever to get one, it's not just going to sit in the fridge. I'm going to show you some more recipes where you can use it and incorporate it into your menu and just get a little bit more use out of it than just like once or twice. So I hope you all enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up if you do. This dress, for those wondering, is by Joni. I love it. It's one of my favourite pieces. I got gifted it last year and it has pockets, guys. It's like one of my favourites. So I'll try and link it down below if it's available. If not, I will link something similar. But I hope you all enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up if you do, and let's get on with the day. For lunch, and as I mentioned before, I'm going to be making some cheese and caramelized onion pastry cigars, which are going to be so delicious. I'm actually waiting on some nigella seeds to be delivered today, and I don't know if they're going to come in time, but I would normally sprinkle the top of these with nigella seeds. If they don't come in time, I'll have to just use something else or improvise or skip on that. But I've got some Filo Pastry here. This is from Tesco. We will track that in a moment. I think it's like 10 points per 100 grams, so by the time you've divided it off, it's not much at all. An egg, some cream. You could also use yogurt, or you could use mayo if you wanted as well. I have two types of cheese here. I've got light and mature cheddar and grey. This is 25 grams in this little dish, and I have some olive oil and my caramelized onion chutney as well. You can use fresh onion, it's completely up to you, and you could also use fresh chili, you could use spring onion, whatever you have in. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my baking tray. My oven is preheating at 180 degrees, and I have some olive oil here, and I'm just going to brush my paper just to make sure that not only do these go really golden when they're sat in the oven and beautiful and crisp on the outside, but also to make sure that nothing sticks and they remove quite easily. You could use a Frylight spray if you desire, but again, it's not a huge coating. I'm literally just getting my brush and swiping it all over the paper to ensure. Next, I'm going to add some of my cream to the cheese. Add it until it gets to the consistency that you want. You want it, I don't know, like quite mushy, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want it too stiff. You want to add as much as you need for it to be a nice, not runny consistency, but definitely a wet kind of consistency. So I'm not 100% sure of how much of this we're going to actually need. I'm going to put the recipe for this in the description box down below, along with the accurate point value, and I will also let you know at the end what I've ended up using. But these are already made, and they're sheets of Filo pastry, so it's nice and fine. It's exactly the consistency that we want, and whatever you don't use, you can pop away in the freezer for another time. So if you were to have 100 grams of that, it's 8 points, which isn't that bad, to be honest. But because I'm going to be using considerably less than that, I'm going to check and see what my serving would amount to in regards to point value. So 20 grams, so per 20 grams it's 2 points. So I'm going to, for now, do 2 sheets and see where I'm at. And if I don't end up using it all, absolutely fine. I can put them away, and it's exactly 40 grams, which is super convenient. Now comes the fun part, and these don't have to look amazing, guys. I mean, you're making them at home. They're never going to look like you've got them out of a restaurant, but if I was making these for a dinner party, I might be a little bit more precise. But as soon as they're just for me for lunch, I'm not overly fussed on how they look and how accurate they are. So I'm just literally going to slice these into squares, and then you want to have some beaten egg handy. So of course, eggs are zero heroes. You don't have to worry too much about that. And we've already talked about the cheese, so we know how much we're tracking in regards to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little cheese concoction, and I'm going to spread it And you want to make sure that you're spreading this because this is actually quite a thick consistency, so you might think that you have a little bit of it, but actually by the time you spread it out, there is quite a lot in each little spoon. Although I honestly don't think we're going to need even half of all of this phyllo. And to top it off, I'm going to be using my red onion chutney. Feel free to use fresh onion, like I said. You can use whatever you would like. I'm using this because I think it complements it really nicely. But again, just in the middle, a tiny bit. And then you want to fold it over as best as you can. And you will get tears, guys. It's pretty hard not to get some tears, to be quite honest with you. And I mean, it is quite tricky. But I'm going to twist slightly just to try and secure it a little bit. But again, this is not the easiest thing to do, but I'm sure they will look delicious. And I'm going to set it aside on the tray. So my first little cigar is made. So that is number one. So now you want to get your egg wash, and you want to make sure that you do this quite generously. You want them to be all golden and delicious. Yummy, yummy. And because there's no sign of my trusty Nigella seeds, I'm going to sprinkle these with a little bit of oregano. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it with some chili flakes. Feel free to use whatever you would like, but I think that some fiery red chili flakes are going to make these look gorgeous. So I'm just going to do a light sprinkling. And then on the side, I'm going to have a flat mushroom that I'm going to stuff with another chutney, and this is a tomato and chili. Again, I think the chili will complement the little cheese sticks that we have going on, and I love tomato mixed with chili. I think it's incredible, and also with the mushroom as well. Guys, 5 points for lunch if you take off the the pastry that I didn't use. This looks absolutely delicious. That mushroom is going to be incredible mixed in with that cheese and the chutney, and the soft Filo pastry is going to be melting in the mouth. It's going to be delicious. I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, you can use Frylight oil. You don't need much of it. That's why I've not tracked the oil today. I mean, I don't overly track oil anyway, but just for, you know, for your reference. But yeah, these look like golden sticks of heaven, and I cannot wait to dive in. Right, it's time for dinner. Those cheese cigars were so good, guys. You have to try them. I had them with that flat mushroom, and honestly, they were delicious. So please do try those. I will pop the recipe in the description box down below. So here I have some salt and pepper, the all-important Rose Harissa Paste. This is what you'll be looking for. Something similar to this. It's a ruby red paste. You can just get harissa on its own. You can get harissa powder. For this recipe, I would definitely say go for the Rose Harissa, because that rosy taste really does make a difference in this Middle Eastern dish. I have the lime here. We're going to be using half the juice of this lime and the lemon, not lemon, why do I keep saying lemon, and the lime zest as well. I have a nice bunch of coriander, some yogurt, and this is lactose-free yogurt, but please feel free to use fat-free or full fat or whatever you desire. I have some skinless chicken breast here. Again, feel free to use chicken thigh, chicken breast, whatever you would like, skin on, skin off, it really is up to you. But of course, this is a zero hero. And I also have 2 cloves of garlic as well. So this is very, very simple, guys. All I'm going to do is get a marinade made up in my processor. I use the Magimix. I'll link it down below. It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Along with some olive oil, I'm just going to get all of this blitzed up together to create a really lovely thick marinade, which I'm going to baste the chicken in, and then you can either cook it in the oven or on the hob, and it is going to be delicious. And while that is cooking away, I'm going to get on with making a sticky aubergine side dish, which I think you guys will really like. So let's get cracking. Okay, so I'm going to start off by getting my yogurt in, and again, this is going to provide a lovely base. Feel free to use any kind of yogurt you would like for this. I wouldn't opt for mayonnaise, it just doesn't have the same texture. It's fine with other dishes to substitute for mayo or something like that, but in this dish I would stick to yogurt because that tanginess really adds to the harissa. So make sure that you do opt for yogurt in this case, unless you don't like it, and then feel free to freestyle it. I'm also going to pop the all important Rose Harissa in, and you'll see just how vibrant this is in colour. It is so rich. It's like malted, melted, fiery rubies that have just been crushed down into a liquid form. It's beautiful. I could stare at it forever. And now I'm going to add a nice generous bit of rock salt, followed by black pepper, and then the last ingredient is going to be the zest of this lime, and then we'll blitz it and it'll be ready to go. And that is everything added. So now we're going to pop the lid on, switch it on. It really doesn't take long at all, and look at that beautiful vibrant marinade that we have. So I'm gonna get my chicken into my oven dish and I'll pour this on, and that is simply it. So easy, but so much flavor. The scent of this marinade is just incredible. So again, I have my chicken here. Feel free to use chicken that has the skin on, you know, just do whatever you would like. Use whatever cut you would like. You could even use lamb for this, or fish would be delicious as well. It's just a great marinade. It lends itself very, very well to a lot of things. And even if you wanted to make this veggie and just pop aubergine in here, courgette, mushroom, this harissa marinade will just complement so many dishes. And yeah, it just, again, it's just so incredible. The colour, the scent, the texture of it, it's just so fabulous to work with. So that is our marinade, and now I'm just going to simply work this into our chicken. And ideally you want this to sit for at least a couple of hours in the fridge, but I don't have that kind of time, so I'm gonna let it sit for an hour. But with these strong flavors, it's more than enough time. But if you do, I mean, if you want to invest a lot of flavor, the night before would be absolutely amazing. And the citrus and the garlic will really break down the chicken and make it really moist and tender. So to accompany my chicken, Andrew's having a jacket potato. I've decided to whip up some sticky aubergine, which is absolutely delicious. The stickiness comes from the honey. I will put my recipe in the description box down below. I also have some nigella seeds to garnish with. I have a nice handful of coriander. Of course, I have my aubergine. Some more of that Rose Harissa Paste, which is going to perfectly echo the flavours of the marinade and partner up and just lend itself very well to those flavours. I also have my seasoning, salt and pepper, and a couple of spring onions from my garden. Yes, from my garden. I just plant the heads when I'm done, and I get beautiful spring onions within a few weeks, so that's just very, very impressive. So yeah, all I'm going to do is chop this aubergine into half moons, put it in a roasting dish, blitz everything up, chop the coriander, mix everything together, and put it in a pan and cook it, and it's as simple as that. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is cut my aubergine into half moons. This should serve 2 to 3 people, no worries. So I'm looking forward to having some of this for leftovers tomorrow. But I'm going to put the recipe down below to suit 4 to 6 because I feel like that's what a lot of households would need. So feel free to check out the description box for the recipe. But again, if you want to adjust it accordingly, like I have, I've only used a half measure of that serving, then feel free to do the same, especially if you just want to do it for yourself, or if there's just 2 of you in the household, or perhaps you just want to freeze a little bit, you know, feel free to do that as well. But I'm just going to cut these roughly into half moons. Again, you don't have to get too precious about it. It's not, you know, they don't have to be chopped in any specific way. I just think the half moons look pretty. And I'm also going to chop my, in fact, I'm going to leave about, what do I want to leave for my garden? This is how I chop my onions now. I chop it so I can leave the heads. I leave them at about this big, and then Andrew goes and buries them in the garden, and then, like I said, within 3 to 4 weeks, I have my very own spring onions, which I use for all manner of things. I even love the green, if I'm honest. Like, I know a lot of people just don't eat the green, but I do. I go right to the end. So, the first thing I'm going to add to my marinating bowl is a nice glug of olive oil. Aubergines adore olive oil, like they drink it up, they just love it, like they can't get enough of it. So I'm gonna pop some in here and try and get it coated as evenly as I can with my little fork. Just toss it all around, and then we'll add the other elements and just mix it all, try and get it as coated as evenly as possible. But like I said, I mean, aubergines drink olive oil up for fun, so you can get a little bit trigger happy, but they don't need much to go all soft, so don't be tempted to drench them, but definitely give them a good glug. Remember, when you're dividing this on the serving, it really just doesn't amount to that much. Okay, now that's done, I'm going to add my greens. So this is the coriander and the spring onion all going in. And between each stage, I would recommend just giving it a mix because it's just easier that way. I mean, this bowl isn't the deepest, so I prefer to give things a mix as they go in, just to try and coat them as evenly as possible, because this is just going to get tossed together and thrown onto a baking sheet. So that is that. Now I'm going to add the components that make up the marinade. So first off, a nice sprinkling of sea salt, and be generous with your sea salt because again, aubergines love salt. And I'm also going to add a nice sprinkling of pepper, and then for sweetness I'm going to add honey. And once we've added this honey, we'll give it a nice toss together. It's just going to be so sticky and wonderful, and that's why they call it sticky aubergine, because the honey just melts everything together, and it's wonderful. It really is. It's such a fantastic side dish. But again, you could happily eat this for lunch and you'd be totally satisfied. It's such a filling dish. So that has gone in, and now we're going to add the all important molten rubies. That is the harissa paste. So that is going in. Get every last drop, guys, because it's just delicious. Honestly, you guys will thank me. If you've not had harissa before, you will thank me. So we're just going to get all this mixed as nice and evenly as possible. Try and make sure that every last aubergine is coated. You don't want a naked aubergine. You want everything to soak up the flavour of that gorgeous marinade. Oh, already it's just smelling incredible. Guys, what a delicious day. I mean, harissa is one of my favorite things. I know I always say this, and I wanted to give you guys more recipes where you can incorporate it, because I appreciate that sometimes it's quite difficult to know what to do with some spices, and you buy them because you see them in videos or in books, and then they kind of sit there in the fridge. So I wanted to incorporate them more into my videos, and I love that spice. It's just delicious. And that marinade, that chicken was awesome. It was tender, it was succulent and soft, really flavorful. But I have to say, the thing that stole the show for me today was that sticky aubergine. It was amazing. You could totally have that on its own with bread, bit of cheese on the top, and you'd be a very happy person. Excellent for a side dish, amazing as a warm salad idea. I just adored it. So yeah, I will put my recipes in the description box down below so you guys can go and check them out, recreate them. If you do cook them and you put them on Instagram, make sure you use the hashtag #CookWithNatashaSummar so I can see it, and also Bake with Natasha Summar as well, and that way I can have a look and share them myself. That would be amazing. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new to see these every other day from me. And of course, don't forget to click that all important notification bell so you don't miss a video every time one goes live. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.